Hey, brand builder, Rory Vaden here. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to this interview. We are so excited to bring you this information and wanted to let you know that, hey, there's no sales pitch coming from anything that we do. This is all our value add to you and the community. However, if you are somebody who is looking for specific strategies on how to build and monetize your personal brand, we would love to talk to you. And we offer a free call to everyone that's interested in getting to know us and is willing to give us a chance to get to know them and share a little bit about what we do. So if you're interested in taking us up on a free strategy call, you can do that at brandbuildersgroup.com/summit call. brandbuildersgroup.com/summit call. Hope to talk to you soon. On with the show.
This is going to be really fun for me to introduce to you someone who has become a good friend over the years, Lisa Woodruff, and I admire her business. I very much think of her as a classic example of someone who has a very specific expertise, who serves an audience very well. She's built a great personal brand. I think a lot of you will love what she does in her business. One of the other things that's awesome is, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Lisa, I would consider you one of our star students of Brand Builders Group, and just we've worked together for years. So you're both like a mentor and a colleague and a student at the same time. And that's why it was like, hey, we got to have you on the show. You all got to meet the powerhouse that is Lisa Woodruff. And I want you to know, so she's the founder and CEO of Organized 365, which is really what, is like that is what her brand is all about and what her main business is. She has a podcast that's called the same thing, that's been featured as Women's Day Podcast of the Month. She appears in online media a bunch. She writes for Huffington Post regularly. She's been on like more than 50 TV segments. And basically, I think, her expertise is just sharing strategies for reducing the overwhelm and kind of clearing the mental clutter that specifically women face, although it doesn't only apply to women, but just helping them to live a more productive and organized life. She's the author of several Amazon best-selling books. Their newest one, The Paper Solution, which I had an advanced copy of. And anyways, Lisa, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Rory. As a former teacher and a lifelong learner, you calling me A+ student, like that is the thing that I remember. Everything you just said, all I heard was I got an A. That's all I heard.
In all seriousness, brand builders groups, our official curriculum is 12 topics, but as of right now, we only formally 8 of them are available to the public. And you went through, and I think you're the only person, there's maybe 2 others that have completed all 8, but you did it in what the whole thing was
6 months.
6 months. You blasted through, which is not something we normally recommend, but for you, it was okay because you have the team to help you implement. Number one, you got a team, and number 2, you're the most organized person I know. And so you're able, it's crazy how you are able to learn information and immediately incorporate it into your business, your processes, your structure. And so anyways, it's worth celebrating, but you're definitely one of our star students.
Yeah, well, the whole brand builder curriculum, and as a teacher, I just look at curriculum. I love curriculum. I've built my business as a teacher first, because that's my formal training is as a teacher. And so I approach business differently. And I used to think that was a detriment. And now with the business coaches that I'm meeting with who have grown these companies and sold them and everything, I realize that because I've created a company as almost like a teacher of the company and then a teacher of the community, I am able to implement things really fast in my team, because I look at my team as students and they all have different learning styles. And I look at whatever we're implementing as courses that need to be taught with a deadline, and I'm able to break them down. And yeah, I think being a teacher actually is helping me win at business.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Yeah, so you've got the teaching background, and then,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we say around here a lot is, in order to be a great teacher, you got to be a great student first. And of course, I'm promoting what you've done with Brand Builders Group, but one of the secrets I feel like to you growing your personal brand so fast and so strong is that you are a major investor into personal development yourself. Like, you play the role of student. Can you just talk a little bit about your philosophy there? Because you are definitely the teacher of your community. But again, as much as anyone I know, you're always like the first person to sign up to be in coaching programs yourself and stuff. And I love that about you.
Yes. So when you take Strengthsfinder, my number one strength is learning. Like, I'm a natural learner. I love to learn. I consume a ridiculous amount of content. I'm not good at telling you where I remember the content from, so that's bad. But I consume a lot of content, diverse content, and I'm just filling my brain with a whole bunch of ideas all the time. And I listen to podcasts and I follow other entrepreneurs that are successful. And so many people say that the only thing you have control over is yourself. I say that when you're getting your home organized or when you're getting your control of your life and moving from reactive to proactive mode, you have to focus on yourself, getting your mindset right. And so when you're growing your business, the only thing that you will have with you for the rest of your life is any investment that you make in yourself, in your learning, in your mindset, in your connections, in your relationship. The business that you're in now may be a different business, but all of the resources you put into yourself will grow. And then I would say in the last 3 years, as Organized 365 has started to gain some traction, and now I know that it's going to be a company 5 years from now, it's not going to go out of business. Like, I'm more confident in the fact that we kind of know what we're doing and that we're going to stand the test of time. Now, and instead of investing in me and getting over my imposter syndrome, it has been more in investing in me and becoming a better leader and staying 6 months to a year ahead of my team, because now my team is growing because I'm a good teacher. Like, I provide them with coaches and resources and courses. And honestly, we did Brand Builders not because I needed Brand Builders, but because everything that Brand Builders teaches, I had learned in 8 years on my own. And it was time where I needed to disseminate all of that information into my team. I needed to make sure that I had ticked off all of the boxes, dotted the I's, crossed the T's, so that we're ready for scale, because we are perfectly positioned to be a company that is going to scale soon. I overhired, so I hired people just so I could train them the way I want them to be trained, so that we will scale with ease and with grace versus at a breakneck speed that is fun but stressful, especially for the women that I employ.
I love that. And I have become, more convicted on that. Like, Brand Builders has become such a curriculum, and we've got resident experts who teach it, that I think, a lot of personal brands come to us for like their education, their strategy. But I think in the future, more and more people are going to look at us more like you did, which is get your assistant trained, get your team trained, get your CMO trained, to where it's like, you don't have the time to unload all this information. Let us catch them up and also, like you said, dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure you've got all the cracks sealed. So I love that. So let's talk about your business a little bit. Can you walk us through a little bit of what your journey has been with Organized 365 from when you started as a personal brand? And you don't have to tell us exact numbers, but anything you can that is empirical that you feel comfortable sharing. How many people did you start with? How many people do you have now? How many years did it take? How did your revenue, roughly grow? How many clients did you service in the beginning, and how many now? Because I just, I love this story.
I do. I love listening to it. So I know your audience is just like me. So I'm just going to get down to what I wish I was hearing if I was an entrepreneur growing my own brand. We're about to celebrate our 9th anniversary. And in hindsight, I now realize that I make leaps about every 3 years. So the first 3 years, January 2012 to 2015, I was a blogger. I was doing in-home professional organization consultations as a service-based business. I represented a direct sales company that first year, and then I realized that products weren't really what I was going to sell. And I was just getting a lot of boots on the ground, meeting with other people in their homes, men, women, children, old, young, different socioeconomics, and realizing what are the true holes in organization. Why is it with organization books, people are still not getting organized? And that's when I learned some of the basic things I teach today, like organization is a learnable skill. I'm a teacher. I could figure out how to teach you this online. You have different organization in different phases of life. It's roughly every 20 years. So you're a child, then 20s and 30s, you accumulate, 40s and 50s, you're in survival, and then 60 plus. If you stay in your house the same during all of those phases, you're going to need to reorganize it, and the organization looks different. So all of that like mindset work, and I was blogging and I was figuring out that this was the thing I was going to do forever.
So you were, and that's almost like, it's kind of like field, like you're in the field, just in the nitty gritty, like talking to clients in their homes, and they're going, this is why I can't do this, and this is what I struggle with. And that's a part of where your content really went from hypothesis to curriculum, because you're like, oh, everybody struggles with this.
And what is my unique spin on it? So my unique spin on it is I'm a teacher. I can teach you how to do this. This is a learnable skill. Up until that point, professional organizers always said, I have the answers. I can fix your problem for you. Let me come in and do it for you. You are not capable. You weren't born organized, sorry. And that's the message that we had as women. So then it was, how do you get that message out? The next 3 years, I hired a couple of contractors. I hired my first executive assistant. I started producing the Amazon best-selling books. I came out with 2 Amazon best-selling books. I moved into podcasting from doing the blog and slowly started to move that over. I was taking these concepts I was learning in person. We still had in-person organization. That's where all of the money came from for the first 6 years. I had grown a team. They were doing the organizing for me. And I was really formalizing that thought leadership into books and building my experience. So the first 6 years really, I mean, I was making $100,000 or less a year. I was paying people on credit cards. I was just building up my body of work and figuring out what is it that is unique to me.
And most of the revenue was service-based business.
85%.
And when you say 100,000 a year, that you're saying that's your income,
gross.
Not your revenue. Oh, gross.
That was gross. Oh yeah, okay. Rory, so you're not making any money.
Okay. It's taking a minute. Yeah, you laugh now. Somebody's out there listening going, it ain't funny. At least they're saying it ain't funny, right?
Yeah, like 6 years. I know. And I would listen to all these podcasts. They'd be like, it takes 7 years. It takes 4 years. Like, I'll do it faster. I'll work. And I was working 100-hour weeks. Like I was clocking my time, 80 to 100-hour weeks. You cannot outpace time. Like there is a time factor to growing your expertise and learning and developing. I mean, you just can't shortcut it.
Yep. Zig Ziglar used to say, there's no elevator to success. You got to take the stairs, baby. Okay, so that's year 3 through 6. Is that about when we met the first time? Because the very first time we met, we were working on your Infusionsoft.
Yep.
That was when.
And I only had Pat. Yep. And we were doing that. So that was going into 2017. And 2017 was like a landmark year for me in betting on myself and just saying, you know what, this is good, but there's more here. It's going to be great. More people need this message. Women need to hear about grace. They need to understand this is a learnable skill. Like this is a problem that no one else is going to solve. So I'm going to go all in and I'm going to solve it. So that was the year that I paid $10,000 to go to New York for one weekend and learn about how to get a professional book launch. I hired 7 people in 7 weeks at the end of 2017. Now, all of them except for one were contractors, and they're like 3 to 5 hours a week. So it wasn't like I was hiring full-time people, but I did this. I wrote my mission, vision, and values. I moved from an LLC to a C Corp. I got a patent pending on my Sunday basket. I got a manufacturer to make the Sunday basket. At that point, we had no physical products. I'd just been talking about these on the podcast, but there was nothing people could buy to actually get their to-do list eliminated, organize all of their tasks, and ditch their filing cabinet.
Not even a course?
I had one course, the 100-day program was an active course. It was only sold in a launch model. That's all I had.
Okay, so then
And
you
I
did start
said,
with an
yeah.
information product was the
Mhm.
first sort of scalable offering that you had.
Yes, I did have that. And we had just added in 2017 the basic first planner that went along with that. So once I hired all those people, that was to get everything out of my head and the physical products created and develop what you see today with a warehouse and fulfillment and all of that.
Yeah. So how many? So from years 0 to 3, it's basically just you. From years
Mm-hmm.
3 to 6, it's like you, one full timer, and a bunch of contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And then years 6 through 9, it was like, okay, we kind of took some contractors, made them full time, brought on a bunch more part time contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And then where are you at now with like your staff size and like how many customers you serve, and like give us a sense of the scale now 9 years in.
Yep. So in year 6, 7, when I hired all of these people, we ended that year at $441,000 in revenue. And we ended our last fiscal year, so the end of that 3 years, at 1.3 million in revenue. And I knew at that point that I had taken the company as far as I could without a physical product and without a team to help me. And I could stay at the level I was at, but in order to make the impact that I wanted to make, I had to take all of my profit and put it in people and products in order to then make the ultimate impact that I wanted to make.
Yeah, so that 1.3 million in revenue was that
Gross.
last year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our year end is June 30th. So.
Okay, but that was like your 9th year.
Yep. 8th year and 3rd year, and it was 3 years after I hired all those people. So it's the numbers are weird because I changed how I end my year.
When did we incorporate Infusionsoft into the mix? That was like 2015 maybe?
It was right before I hired all of those people. So it was that 2017 year, I believe. It was in January that Pat and I got into that coaching with you to do that for the entire year. And by the time we were done, that's when I was hiring all of the people.
Got it. Yes. Okay. So so then you had so there you go. So that was basically 3 years from that kind of point that you turned on what we would call phase 4, 8-figure entrepreneur.
Yes.
Like you turned on okay, now I'm turning my personal brand to a business.
Yeah.
Vision, values, team, systems, go. And now here you are making.
Yeah. So we have 7 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and then 4 part-time contractors that are still part of our team that all come to all of our all-team meetings, and then a whole bunch of other contractors, just like you would in a regular. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just love this. And you probably made more in income in the last 2 years than the first 8 years combined. Is it something like that?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is part of why I wanted people to thank you for sharing this, because it's like when we tell people, I know you know this, I'm kind of talking to the listener right now, we're always saying we're playing the long game. We're playing the long game. We're playing the long game. If you follow the fundamentals, do the systems, build the processes, do this. And it's like this slog fest for the first 4 or 5 years, particularly for the first 2 or 3. But then all of a sudden, it's like it started to catch. You went all in. You developed as a leader. And I don't know. I'm just so freaking proud of you. I mean, that's weird to say, but
the other thing I would say about that, well, thank you, Rory. The other thing I would say about that is when I became a C Corp in that summer, I put myself on payroll and I became an employee of the company. And until that point, I had just been pulling money willy-nilly. So when I became an employee of the company at year, 5.5, 6, I then had a paycheck. And I made my paycheck be the opposite week of my husband. So now we have money coming in our family every single week that is predictable. After I'd been doing this about 18 months, I realized that everybody in the company was kind of making the same amount. And so then I wasn't giving raises. And I finally realized, give yourself a raise. So I raised my own salary. And then I didn't feel like I had to hold everybody else's salaries down. I was able to give raises there as well. And now that we're going into year 9, I hired a fractional CFO last year and we made profit last year. And he's like, this is where you take a distribution. I was like, no, put it back in the company, put it back in inventory, which is what we did because we were in the middle of the pandemic. And he says, you have to realize, Lisa, you're also an owner. Like, you get paid as an owner. And so I've been wrestling for the last 6 months about, well, how much should I get paid as an owner? How much should you take out as an owner? And I'm finally to the point where that will be a conversation we have next summer, is like, okay, now what does your owner pay in addition to your employee? I'm just so thrilled to have a paycheck now and know what my income is going to be. It's hard to think about the fact that I've also built an asset in addition to a job for myself.
Yeah. And in the 8-figure entrepreneur event, which you were in, I think we did it in June, AJ and I had to figure that out too. And we actually have 3 different sources of pay. We pay ourselves like a salary as a manager. We have profits that we draw from the company, and then we actually pay ourselves for doing service-based work on the exact same pay plan that we would pay anyone on our team on. And it's like, you really are wearing these different hats, and you got to almost think about, like, I am playing different roles paid in different ways. The owner hat is the one that you don't get paid on forever, and then one day you do. So I want to talk about your business model now a little bit, because I feel like you are more rare. One thing I love about you is you're this 7-figure business. Is it fair to say that products, like physical products, is now the core, or more of is it the primary business model or secondary still?
So I will share with you, as entrepreneurs, when I came up with this idea, and I think it is the thing that saved us in the pandemic, and I think it's the thing that's going to save us going forward. We are not a product company, and we are not a course company. It is a blend. And it is hard for a consumer to figure out, what am I paying for the course? What am I paying for the product? Because there's so much integration. And everything I sell has a lifetime value to it. So I'm not selling an MMR, monthly recurring revenue. I have a couple of little offerings like that for people who want to go deeper. But the basic customer journey is, you buy a Sunday basket, which you see behind me, which is a box and a set of slash pockets. So there is a physical cost to that. But in addition to that, you get into a Facebook group where we do co-working spaces every single Sunday. You have on-demand training. You have extra printables that come out. I'll come out with extra things that are bonuses for people who have a Sunday basket, like at tax time. I'll do a tax training and give you some tax printables. There's no cost. We just add that in there. So you're kind of like in that level. And then once you do the Sunday basket and you have eliminated your to-do list and have 5 extra hours every week, you usually go into the 100-day home organization program. Again, lifetime membership. We have on-demand videos for all 100 days. There's a planner you get when you purchase, and then you could purchase additional ones. You can upgrade and do your planner with me every quarter.
How much is the Sunday basket? Sunday basket?
Sunday basket's $97.
So that's like the entry point. It's just a 97, come into the community. And it's like a lifetime access, though, to this community, which includes effectively a course that walks them through what to do every week.
Co-working, like every week of the year. And then what's
the 100-day program is the next step up?
Yep, that's $500, or you can do 6 payments of $96 if you want to stay in that $100 a month investment in your home organization. That has a whole bunch of extra things. We're working on an app. We have extra blog posts, like all kinds of freebies are given into that group as well. And then after that, you go to all access, which is where you ditch your filing cabinet. You get the 4 binders that replace your filing cabinet, planning day, and then you can add on the kids course or the photo course. And once you get all that done, then you usually jump into our workbox and our work from home offerings.
So an all access, so 97, 500, and then all access is what?
Another 500.
Another 500. But those are one-time deals. So when you're doing 7 figures, part of what's amazing about this to me is it's not recurring. Like everything brand builders do, we're a slow snowball that builds and builds and builds, and you're new. These are new people coming in.
Yep.
That's amazing. It's extremely difficult to do. I mean, so how are you doing it? Like, what is your primary mechanism for attracting, and hopefully y'all are picking this up, right? It's just home organization expert, extremely clear, vertical, clutter and disorganization, a clear problem, a clear need, a true expert serving one audience with an entry point that you then, rise up. So you're like, you're a perfect example of that, like breaking through the wall, picking the riches in the
Mm-hmm.
niches. So how do you keep getting new customers all the time? Like, what's the acquisition model?
So something I had to realize, which we had a VIP day in addition to going through brand builders, I also did a VIP day with you. And we kind of talked about how I have sold 1,000 people into this workbox system, and we've never really advertised it. Like, I don't talk about it very much. And all of those people have come from the Sunday basket. So when you really look at what is your customer journey, 99% of people in Organized 365 start with this $97 Sunday basket, or they try to make one on their own. Like, they get the idea of, I need to plan my week on Sunday. There's a certain way to do this. It's unavoidable. I need to get the time so I can get more time back during my week. If they do the Sunday basket, which we advertise on the podcast, and now we have Facebook ads, and I do webinars that we advertise through Facebook. If they do the Sunday basket, 60% of them will do the 100-day program. Or I think it's 40% will do the 100-day program, and 60% of those will go all access. And 15% of those will go into our certification program, and 30% of those will upgrade in our certification program.
Okay, hold on a second. This is one thing.
I know my numbers.
I know, and the digital dashboards and the Facebook ads and stuff. I mean, this is what you would expect from an organization expert, but it's why I love teaching you. It's like, you get the stuff we teach implemented faster probably than our team does. Like, you guys are so fast. So 60% of them will upgrade, you said, to the 100-day, and then you said 60% of those will upgrade.
Yeah, it's like 45. One of them is 40 and 160. I'm not good with details, but basically, if I can get people into the Sunday basket, the system works because I'm a teacher. Like, it works if you are a detail-oriented person or a big picture person. It works if you have ADHD, if you don't. Like, because I'm a teacher, I've built in all the learning modalities. The Sunday basket works. If we can get people to get it and then get into our community, they have success. And what happens is, it's nothing to do with the Sunday basket. It's the internal realization that, I'll be darned, organization is a learnable skill. She taught it to me. I learned it. Well, if I can learn that, can I actually get it's a confidence builder. It's a quick win within 6 weeks to realize, oh my gosh, I have more time than I used to have. My brain is not talking back to me anymore. I don't have an unending to-do list. If that worked, I can have my home organized. Women for years have thought they can never have their home organized, and the Sunday basket has to come first because it proves to them that they can. And then when they start believing in themselves and they get in that group, we just shower them with love. We have the most positive Facebook group ever. There's no negativity in it whatsoever. Everyone is supporting everyone. And then once you have that success, then you get addicted to organizing. And then you're like, fine, I'll do everybody says they don't have paper. As soon as they do the 100-day program, they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much paper in this house. And then they just go right through the customer journey. But it's all about believing that you can do it. And the reason I am not monthly recurring revenue is because my target market is women. And women invest in themselves last, and they need to feel successful. So when they have the Sunday basket successful, I mean, if their child falls down and needs stitches at the ER, Rory, they stop doing their Sunday basket.
It might have happened to us 3 times in the last 6 weeks, but we're good parents.
Any of those unexpected events derail them. And if it is a monthly recurring revenue, then it's guilt every time that money comes out. If it is a limited time, you only have 90 days to implement it. There's this pressure on women that they already have so much pressure. I don't want any pressure. I don't want any guilt. I just want to love on you and give you the solution.
Well, and I think, you've always been so encouraging of my Procrastinate on Purpose book.
Yes.
And one of the things we tried to do with that book, which it's occurred to me why, one of the reasons why I think it is so aligned with you is we tried to, in that book, talk about the emotional side of time management, not just the logical stuff. And I feel like you do the same thing with home organizing. It's tactical, but it's also the emotional components. It's the guilt and the stress and the anxiety and the worry and your own story of changing your life when you were 40 years old, and like just all of the mental health aspects that having an organized that come along with having an organized home, which I just, I really love. So I hear you on the customer journey. Basically, give them something small that they can have a win, get a result, build trust, community, and then accelerate them up, especially like, I know with your Infusionsoft, you've got it all tracked in a process to move them from one to the next, to the next, to the next. You mentioned the Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
We teach people not to do it until they get to phase 3. Like most people do it way early, but you're a great example of, like you said, you just started introducing that. And
Mm-hmm.
is that, have you kind of acquiesced to the idea of going, okay, now that I know what my lifetime value is, I can justify spending ads, driving people directly to Sunday Basket? Is that how you do it? You try to, you move them deliberately into the front of the journey?
Yes. So we started Facebook ads 2 weeks before our customer lockdown. We all went into lockdown for the pandemic, and we've been ramping up the spend as you told us to do. So we advertise to our current customers new products that are coming out. We advertise to people to start in the Sunday Basket. We advertise podcast episodes. And here's something unique to us. And I've done Facebook ads in the past with little money. Now I'm doing it with bigger money. Our ads always convert because women are always looking for organization solutions, and there aren't a lot of people in that industry, and our ads are always not very expensive because they're not competitive. I'm not in the entrepreneurial space. I'm not in the political space. So I'm able to get a good return on our investment, and we usually have 3 to 4 times return on our investment every single week, and sometimes up to 7 times return on our investment, which I know is unusual.
So then, on that first customer one, do you drive people to a free training? Like, let's just take Sunday Basket, not your existing customers, but is it just basically an ad to a free training, or do you do a challenge, or do you do a video funnel? Like, what is that ad driving people to? Or do you just take them directly to the sales page to buy the basket?
We've been taking them directly to the sales page to buy the basket. And, over the course of the year,
Because it's $97
our website.
It's also not like it's a $2,000
We redid our website. So all of June, I think we drove like 30,000 people to the website, and they all bounced off because the website was broken. So
that's awesome.
We're trying. It's lovely.
Happens.
It's great. But we still made money on our ads. I don't know what to tell you. So now we're retargeting those people for webinars, and I'm doing another webinar. We're trying that for a while. So we're taking 90 days and driving people to a webinar that only Facebook ads is getting that webinar, and then seeing what the conversion is. So we're testing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got I did a training last week on this specific thing. I'm going to send it to you. So because
Thank you.
You've done these things, not just the right things, but in the right order at the right time. And it's moving along. So I have one more question for you. Before that, I mean, where should people go, Lisa, to learn about you? If they want to connect? And I mean, also, there's a huge part of being a personal brand, which is just keeping your crap organized. And so like the actual skill that you're teaching here, I think really helps accelerate the success of any entrepreneur. And, not just, I know you're saying women and like the home and that, but it's any business owner trying to like keep parts of their life organized. So where should they go to find you?
I often say that men are not holding women back your houses, and that's why I speak to women, because the emotional components that you're talking about do not impact men the way they do women. And so many women have something they're uniquely created to do, but they're waiting until the laundry and the dishes are done. And so that is the person that I'm trying to reach. Like, I want to free you from your home so you can go bless the world with what you're uniquely created to do. The best way I do that is through my podcast. So if you've liked this interview, go check out the podcast, which is Organize 365. We have over 9 million downloads on that podcast, so it's pretty popular. I love it. I have a lot of episodes every week. I love talking on the podcast. And then if you just want to know more about the products, go to organize365.com. You can click on the shop. You can learn about the workboxes, learn about the Sunday Basket.
We got it. We got the we've got the Sunday Basket. We have the 100-day program. I mean, just really, really great stuff. So, since you know exactly what it is like to be a brand builders group client, and 3 years ago, I mean, you had already been at it 5 or 6 years by the time we had met, and then, reconnecting with Brand Builders Group here recently. What would you say to that person who's like, in year 2 and they're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing all this stuff and I'm not making any money. It doesn't seem like anyone's listening. I'm frustrated. Like I can't get crap done. I can't afford vendors. I don't know how to do it myself. Like, I don't have time. Like, what would be your advice to that person?
I love that Bill Gates quote when he says, we underestimate what we can do in 10 years and we overestimate what we can do in 1 year. And I think that's true too. Like you just have to realize that you are in a marathon and it is a self-development and blessing of the world. Like whatever you're uniquely gifted and created to give the world, like is amazing, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. But you need to take the next step, take the next step, take the next step. And if you're in brand builders or looking to join brand builders, look at it as like your college education. So there are 4 different phases and look at each phase as a year of college education. Now, if you're like I was when you came in and you're in year 8, then yeah, you can get the whole thing done in a year. It's extremely rare. I was over ready. If you're in year 2, then I would look at that for those 4 phases as like, if I can get these 4 phases done in the next 4 years, I will be 6 years in. That's where you naturally are going to be this, business that is growing. I find it so interesting. So many podcasts that I've followed for years and years and years, female podcasts, so many of them in the last 2 years have become 7-figure businesses and moving quickly to 8-figure businesses. And it's just time. It's not that they found something out that you don't know, or they have a secret, or it's a super special funnel or whatever. It's just time. It takes 10 years to grow to $1 million business. Like it just takes time.
Love it. Lisa Woodruff, ladies and gentlemen, we'll link up to Organize 365. Man, keep going, Lisa. I'm so proud. It's been such an honor to work with you. And we just continue to wish you the best in your journey. And thanks for all your encouragement.
Thanks, Rory.